What's also not right is not acknowledging that it's men who make this sacrifice, that it's men who do the tough jobs. They go out there and they do it. Now, will the younger ones do it in the same amount? Because it seems to me that Gen Z is pretty soft all the way around. And also, what's their motivation? They're definitely not appreciated. Is it possible that the Gen Z men are going to realize, I'm not appreciated. I don't have a family to, work for and sweat for, and who, a wife that's actually going to be a wife and be in the home and raise our children and contribute to the family. Like, why are you going to go be a roofer? All people need a reason, a purpose, and it can't just be pleasure seeking, going to the next pleasurable experience, That's very empty. And Gen Z has the highest mental health issues of any generation. In a way, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. What's going to happen when a draft happens and men are like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Because I think there might be quite a few who will, and I think that's why they're doing this automated thing. But I also think that they're doing this automated thing because in their head, they have to. Because they're going to need it. And I don't know if it's going to be Ukraine. I don't know if it's going to be the Middle East. I don't know if it's going to be, here at home. There's wars and rumors of wars. Yep. A lot of prophecy happens to be coming true. And I know that pretty much every generation has always thought, well, we're in the end times, but it's pretty difficult not to think that right now. So I guess I'm in that same boat. None of us knows the day or the hour, but we should be looking to the skies, because this is, I don't know how this all gets resolved. I don't know how it all gets resolved. It seems to be, it seems that things are being set up. That is a very good way to get through to women. I wish that I could explain to women how wonderful men are and how good men are and that they're not oppressive, but they're so brainwashed against it. They're so bought into that narrative that we can't. But the way she's presenting it, I very much like, because I think, do you notice the women are not arguing? Do you notice that? That it is very telling. These women are not arguing with her because they know, look, at the end of the day, they don't want to be promiscuous. I know. You guys will be like, what are you talking about? They look like they do. They want attention. They want attention. They want validation, etc. But they don't really want to be promiscuous. If they did, they would be arguing with this chick right now. They would be. They'd be saying, well, who are you to say that I can't, do this and do that? And they're not saying that. She's saying, look, feminism taught you that being promiscuous was power, was liberation, was all of this. And it's not. And none of them are arguing. They are all quiet. Now, there's one over there that, she tries a little bit, but just makes it better. She just, like they all do, they always just make our points for us, whether they realize it or not. I don't know if Brian I don't know what his intention is for this podcast, but I like these conversations that come out of it. I don't know who's all paying attention, but we're going to highlight this lady for a little bit here and some of the back and forth about feminism, because it brings in this whole idea of the CIA and what feminism was really about.
I think we've seen enough. She's got it all, you guys. She's got it all. She's got the tattoos. She's got the piercings. I can't not see a bull, because I've seen farms. I've lived around farms. I've seen. She's got the language. She's got the piercings. She's got the tattoos, and she's doing what she's doing in all her glory, and then lying about it. Do we think she's going to be prosecuted? I mean, I think it lists the charges at the end, but y'all know. No, he probably won't press charges. And, she'll probably get out of it because the judge will be like, well, if he's not going to press charges. It's just disgusting. And it's going on right and left. And I don't know if it's because I don't expect anybody to do a study on it or anything to be for there to be actual evidence and proof of something that goes against the narrative. So I have this feeling and idea that the ending of partners is going to increase, and it's going to increase both ways.
Her boyfriend, while she go and sleep around behind your back. Don't do it, and don't ask a woman her body count. She gonna lie to you.
Continuing with the article.
Oh wow, yeah. 3 things a woman will lie about: her body count, if she had an abortion, and how many she's had, and her age. Okay, that tells us a lot. Women will say that those don't matter, that she's actually more attractive with age. She's more attractive at 40 than she was at 20. There's nothing wrong with schmishmortions. It's not a problem. It's my body, my choice. So, and body count, like my value is the same. What are you talking about? Well, if all that's true, then why do you lie about those things, or you won't just say them? Why is it insulting? Why is it considered an insult to even ask those questions? You can't say on one hand that, oh, it doesn't matter, and it's fine. Those things are all fine, and that my age doesn't matter and body count doesn't matter. If that's true, then the very questions about those things themselves wouldn't be offensive to you. You're not that. It's like a kid who's trying to tell you he didn't eat a cookie, but his teeth are all like Oreos. You know what I mean? And he's like, I didn't have a cookie. And maybe he's 3, doesn't realize you can see the cookie. The women, when they're like, oh, well, I don't think body count really matters, means it's high and she knows it matters. So they lie and they think that they're fooling people. And I think, maybe they did for a while, but they're not anymore. Not anymore.
Cool.
Doubled now. It's the full realization of the globalist, elitist, overlords, whatever name you want to call them, their plan. Because when you have more people, more workers, well, the companies hiring now have lots of people to choose from. So the power is they've got all the power because it's everybody competing. Well, when there were fewer, when it was just men looking for jobs and a little bit women here and there, the companies had to compete for the men, not the other way around. And so the companies paid. These communists, I swear, they have no idea. They're out there, these
feminist people, it's like, you understand why we need 2 incomes now? Silly. It's because women decided that it was like empowering to go and work, that somehow raising the next generation, there's no power in that. You know, we got to be out in the workforce doing mindless jobs that anybody can do and we can be replaced. That's what they wanted. Now you've got low wages and they've got twice the taxes.
Welcome to Literary Archaeology, everybody. I have not moved into the new place yet, but it's calmed down enough that I could upload that video. I know it's silly. I think it's mostly a little chaotic in my mind. And that's why doing literary archaeology is so helpful, because not only does it take you away to a different place, but it feeds your soul. At least it feeds my soul, knowing that, yes, we do come from a culture. We do come from a different time. That's why we feel like aliens in this modern society with all this woke everything. That's why it's just like, ugh, right? Because we don't belong here. Or none of this nonsense, woke stuff, what have you, degeneracy, crime, rampant crime, etc. That doesn't belong here. We do, actually. It's just that what surrounds us is foreign. It's just the decay that is this world. Ever since, the fall in the Garden of Eden. That's why my original channel is called Far From Eden, and we talk about, how men and women just can't make it work anymore. Anyways, today, Thumbelina. Now, I'm one of those people that I never saw this. I think they made a movie out of it or something, and I never saw it. But it's not like that would matter, because they don't really follow the original of any of these. We found that when we did the Grimm brothers, studied the Grimm brothers. It's like, wow, they left a lot out. And the things they left out are very telling. It's not like, oh, well, we trimmed it because, we didn't have time. No, you just didn't want to show any kind of real wholesomeness and where it comes from, or any, realization or acknowledgement that God exists.
I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis like 24 years ago. And before that, I didn't have a social life. I didn't want a social life. I went to class. I came home. I studied. I was on the equestrian team. I rode my horses. I went to shows. I didn't party. I didn't do any of that. I wasn't interested in a bunch of dating back then. Anyway, then I got MS, and I've been living under a rock. So that, I will just say what I've said before. Women shouldn't be in the workforce, period. Now, I get it. Inflation and the fact that the workforce was doubled when women entered the workforce, and now that women are expected to be in the workforce over the last, definitely in the millennial generation, when they came of age, it was just like expected. There was no like, oh, you can be a stay-at-home mom and be a housewife. No, everybody goes to work. Well, that's absolutely doubled the workforce. And so wages drop because companies don't have to compete to get employees anymore. Now employees have to compete to get a job. So it's very difficult in this day and age to roll that back and live. You'd have to live with only one car and live in the boonies, and you'd have to make serious sacrifices and adjustments to make it work on one income. There are some people who do it. Generally, they're older, so like when they got their house and stuff like that, it was before this last giant round of I almost said inflammation. I hope I didn't say inflammation on the last one, but inflation. So the women shouldn't be in the workforce. They shouldn't be, not even as secretaries. I don't think so. Because look what happens. Men and women They should be a man and a wife, should be married. And we shouldn't be out there intermingling. And I know I sound like maybe I should be Amish. And I feel like we maybe all should be, because this business, this stuff is going on. Nobody's got any, and what's their reason not to have all these, threesomes and all the other stuff she said? Everybody's getting pregnant and having affairs and this, that, and the other. And like, what's their reason not to? They don't have a good reason not to. You don't have a moral compass that comes from outside of yourself. Then, what's to stop you?